Hi everyone, in today's video I thought I'd have a look at the adhesive sheets that we sell in our annual catalogue. Now this is the annual catalogue. It runs from June 20 to June 21 and the sheets are available on page 172 of the catalogue, and they're here. So they're easy to miss actually because you can't really see what they are. They're sold in a pack of 12 and the sheets are 6 by 12 inches and they're basically double-sided adhesive, so they can turn things into stickers. In today's video I'm going to show you how to use them to make another stash buster card using your scraps. So I've been making quite a few Christmas cards recently and I used this set the other day and I noticed that I've got quite a few different size scraps. So basically what I'm going to do today, I'm going to cut these scraps up into strips and I'm going to use this double-sided adhesive to hopefully make sticking the scraps down easier. Now I have done a similar card to this a few months ago. I'll try and insert a picture of here. For that particular card I left gaps in between the strips and I think I used dry adhesive or my Tombow liquid adhesive, I can't remember, and it does get a bit messy, so I'm going to try these out today. I've got a piece of regular Whisper White cardstock, which is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8, and this is going to be the base for my adhesive sheet and my scraps of designer series paper. So I've got one of the 6 by 12 sheets here. I'm going to cut a strip of this to 3 5/8 because that's the width of my piece of Whisper White. Okay, so on one side of it there are like score lines and on the other side it's completely plain. I'm going to peel away the plain section and just expose the sticky. Now I'm just going to peel only some of it away for now. This is very, very sticky adhesive, and just turn this so that I can see it towards me, and I'm going to stick this piece of card onto this sticky sheet. So I'm just going to line it up at the top. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I have cut it at the same width, and then I'm going to peel the rest of it away and just burnish it down. And then this bit here on the end I'm going to cut off, but I'm going to put the release paper back on it just to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to bring in my old glue scissors. I only ever use these when it's anything to do with adhesive, and I'm just going to trim off that section that I don't need, and then you can either keep that or you can throw it away. So now when I turn this over, I've basically made a sticker sheet. So I'm just going to put that on one side for now and I'm going to cut my strips of paper. So these are all the bits that I've got so far that are just all different size strips, and I'm just going to cut them down a bit more. So I'm going to cut them down at probably 1 inch or ½ an inch wide, something like that. And on our paper trimmer you can go up to about 1.5 inches over on the right hand side, which makes it easier when you cut in small strips. So I'm just going to line this piece of designer series paper up at the top of the bar to hold it flush, line this up to ½ an inch and cut a strip, and then I'll do another one. It doesn't matter how wide you cut these strips. That one I'm going to make 1 inch, and I can use this skinny one as well if I want to. And then let's see what other different patterns we've got here. So I'll make these ½ an inch again, I think. with these strips. So now I'm going to bring in the piece of sticker paper again now, and now I'm going to peel off these sections that are scored, and this is going to expose the sticky now on this side. So this is just going to become one big sticky piece of card, and I can always trim this down at the end if I want to, but for now, as I say, I'm starting off. Just got some adhesive there on my mat. It is very sticky, this stuff. So for now I'm starting off, as I say, with a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I've put the sticky on, and this is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So I'm literally now just going to start laying these across this piece of card. So I'm going to mix up the patterns and the widths, but because this is a sticker, I'm not messing about having to use a tape runner, and I'm not using wet adhesive that's going to stick to my fingers. So I'm just going to line this up. And for this one, obviously, because this is one big sticker sheet, I'm not leaving any gaps, whereas the last one I made, I left little gaps in between each of the pieces of paper, which showed some of the white through. So I'm going to do some like that, and then I'm going to come off and do some this way. See what we've got. And I'm just literally going to build up the design. I've got that skinny one. I can put that one in there, like so. That one in there, and literally just building up the patterns. And then when I run out of pieces of paper, I'm going to trim off some of this excess and use those. So now I'm just going to pick this all up, turn it over, and using the edge of the white piece of card, cut these strips off, and then I can use these again to fill in. And the cutting doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. Just use some old scissors though, obviously, because you are cutting through, you know, paper that's stuck to a very sticky piece of card. So now I'm going to start filling in the gaps. So let's see if this will fit in here. I'm just not quite big enough, so let's try this. So I'm going to stick that one in there, that one in there, and then just carry on. So let's see, put that one in there, that one in there. There you go. So I think that's it, and I've still got all these strips that I can save and use on another card. So I'll put those on one side for now, and keep your little bits, because your little bits, you know, will fill in the little corners that you're left with. So I'm going to flip this over and trim this up again now. So just give it a good rub from the back just to make sure everything's stuck down. I can see a little bit of card there that I've missed. So just trim that off. And then when I turn it over, I've now got this as a background. So now I need to mat this onto some cardstock and put this on the front of a card, and then I can just make a simple stamped greeting and turn this into another Christmas card. So I've got some pre-cut cardstock here. So this is a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, which I've cut straight down the middle on the short side, scored and folded. So that's going to be the base of my card. And then I've got some matting layers already cut in various shades. So I'm going to try and see how this looks. Actually think that Pacific Point looks nice. But then so does the Highland Heather. And the colours that are in this set of papers, Balmy Blue, Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Pool Party and Whisper White. So any of the colours should go. I think I'll go with Pacific Point. So now I am going to bring in a dry adhesive. I'm going to layer this onto here. That's ready to go on the front of my card. But then I just want to do some stamping and put something over the front of it. So I think I'm going to use Snowman Season. This is a set that was in our catalogue last year and kind of went into hibernation, and it's come back this year. So I think I'm going to use the little baby snowman and the Let It Snow. I'm going to use my Stamper Artist because I'm going to use two of the stamps from the set, and I want to stamp them at the same time. So I'm going to position these side by side. Just how I want them to look. Pick them up. And I may do a little bit of colouring with blends. So I'm going to stamp them in Memento Tuxedo Black. And because I'm using the Stamper Artist, if I don't get them stamped properly the first time, I can lift this up and go over it again, but that actually looks fine. I might just go over the words again, just to make them a bit darker. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm just going to bring in my chamois and clean those stamps. And this is the Simply Chamois, and this is available in our annual catalogue. It's just a sponge, and you run it under the tap to fill it with water, then just wring it out, and then I keep mine in one of our DVD cases, which we also sell. And then these can go away now because they're nice and clean, ready for next time. So for this now, I think I'm going to use the stitched nested labels dies. And again, these are in our annual catalogue. And I'm going to use this one. I think will just fit. And then I may cut a matting layer bigger, so I'll take that one out as well. Okay, so I've cut those out, and I've cut a layer of Pacific Point out as well, slightly bigger. I'm not sure how well you're going to see this, but obviously it cuts them out and it puts this stitch edging all around. On the piece it leaves behind, it does the same. So you could, you know, cut this off and make this the front of a card. I'm going to put those on one side. So as I said, there are several blue colours within this paper. Misty Moonlight is one of them and Pool Party is another. So I'm just going to use my Pool Party blend and just kind of colour this section in here so he looks as though he's kind of grounded and not floating in midair. And then I'm going to use Misty Moonlight Light and just colour in these little circles. And then I'm going to use Calypso Coral Light just for his little carrot nose. So I'm going to stick this flat onto this bigger layer. Bring my card front back in. And then I'm going to stick this flat on the front of here. And then for this one, I'm going to bring in some dimensionals and pop this up. And just position that in the middle of the card. And I think that's it. You could always put some more stamping inside if you want to, but I think, you know, the main idea of this card was to use up the scraps of designer series paper and then just add the little decoration. So I'll just zoom in. I could add a little bit of bling if I wanted to, which I might do, or I can just leave it as it is. So that's another simple idea showing you how to use up your scraps, but incorporating our adhesive sheets, which, as I say, you can find in the catalogue. So I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.